Hare Krishna. So let's start from verse number 24 for today. So in this verse number 24, how one should delight inwards, that is, do not look for material happiness outside, outward is explained, and such person can only be liberated. So let's recite this verse and we'll see the explanation. Yo anta sukho antaramas tatha antarjyoti evaya sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto digacchati. One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme. Unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness? So, most people derive happiness from the senses, which are external, maybe by drinking, maybe by talking or whatever it is. So till the time one derives happiness externally, one cannot relish happiness inside. And therefore, uh, we should try to relish happiness inside, that is with the Lord, while we are chanting, hearing, and all the things. So what will happen is, when this happiness comes from inside, then we'll not seek happiness from outside. And in this way, gradually, we'll be liberated from material happiness. And in this way, what happens is, we'll be connected with the supreme internal happiness. So liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. So what happens is, a liberated person is there. So he's actually enjoying happiness in connection with the Supreme, because we know Krishna's name and Krishna's pastime and are all blissful, are all the causes of our happiness. And therefore, when we are happy hearing and chanting and doing all these things, what happens is, then we can sit silent at any place and enjoy the activities from within. So sometimes we should try that we sit silently in a place where there is no distraction, and we should be alone with Krishna, and we should try to see how much time can we spend with Krishna alone in hearing, chanting, and doing things, or are we looking for mobile again and again, want to talk to somebody? And gradually, we should increase this time so that our connection with Krishna becomes strong. And in this way, we should grow in our devotional life. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This state is called Brahma Bhuta, attaining which one is assured of going back to Godhead, back to home. So, in such a stage, what happens is, what does not look for outside validation, for outside happiness. And in this way, this stage is called Brahma Bhuta, or attaining the stage where one is assured of going back to God. See, if you want to go to any place now, first we should have that qualities to go to that place, and then automatically we'll be going to that place. Suppose somebody wants that he wants to a job. So first the training is given for that job, and after one is perfect in that job, one gets that job. Similarly, here we should train ourselves with the required qualities which should be there if you want to go to spiritual world. That is free from anger, calm, krodh, lobh, and all, and having the divine qualities of seeing good in others, seeing everyone better than us, seeing that whatever devotees are there, they're all nirmala saranam satam. That is, they are pure, free, and full of spiritual qualities. So in this way, when we train ourselves gradually and we develop such qualities, then we can go back to Godhead. Till the time we do not have such qualities, we'll be staying here. And therefore, what we should do is gradually evolve our consciousness by our thinking, by our willing, by our thoughts, actions. All things should gradually evolve in a way which is conducive for our spiritual growth. We should always think for welfare of others. How can we give this Krishna consciousness to others? How can we help others to mitigate their problems? In this way, when we do things, what happens is, gradually the layers of material nature gets broken, and gradually we are free from this material world, and then we can go back to Godhead. Till the time we do not have these qualities, we are not free from sins, it is not possible that we'll go back to Godhead. And therefore, gradually, we should try to be free from all the material desires, and we should seek happiness in our chanting, in our hearing, in our reading books, in association with devotees, and all the devotion service which we do on a daily basis. So in this way, one should enjoy inwards. And then in verse number 25, the sadhana for attaining liberation, Brahma Nirvana, is given. Labante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayashina Kalmasha Chinna Dvaida Yatatmana Sarva Bhute Hiterata. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. So in this world, there's always duality: heat, cold, summer, winter, or man, apman, there's honor, dishonor, or loss or gain or something. So when we are beyond these dualities, that we do our things in spite of heat or cold, or in spite of gain or loss as a matter of duty, and we are free from all the doubts, and then we are engaged within, as we saw in the previous verse, then what happens is we can always work for the welfare of other living entities. And then we're free from sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. So only a person who is fully Krishna consciousness can be said to be engaged in welfare work for all living entities. So real welfare work can be done only by devotees, because they know that everybody is a part and parcel of the Lord, and they connect each and every person to the Krishna. And then what happens is, because one is connected back to Krishna, one can be eternally happy. See, we are all parts and parcel of Supreme. So till the time the part is connected with the whole, one cannot be said to be happy. Like there's a machine. In machine, there are so many parts. So if the nut ball comes out of the machine, so this nut ball is of no use, because it is not connected with the whole machine. So when this nut bolt is again fit into the machine, then the nut bolt works again, and it is happy that it is serving the whole thing. Similarly, when we are not connected with the Supreme Krishna, then what happens is we'll not be happy, because we are not connected with the whole. So constitutionally, we are made like this, that will be happy by serving Krishna only. This is our constant position. Like if we see, the constant position of water is liquid. So water will remain liquid, and similarly, we see that the constitution of so many things is described. Like fire gives heat and light. That is its nature. It will definitely give heat and light. If there is no heat and light, that means there is no fire. Similarly, if the soul is there, it has to serve the Supreme Lord. See, in this world also we see there is nobody who is without any service. So somebody may serve Lord, and somebody say that there is no Lord, we don't believe. But then they will serve cats, dogs, or any other person or anything, something they will serve. So serving is a basic human nature which is embedded because it's a spirit soul. And therefore, when we connect everybody with Krishna, then what happens is the person will serve Krishna. And in this way, his whole sufferings will get away. The sufferings of humanity are due to forgetfulness of Krishna as supreme enjoyer, supreme proprietor, and supreme friend. So people in this world think that we will enjoy things, we are the enjoyer, we are the proprietor, and we are the supreme friend. But this is an illusion, because if we see, nobody can be proprietor of anything. See, our body also is there for some time only. We do not have property over this body also. It will come, and after some time it will go. Similarly, if we see in this world that we cannot be supreme friend to anybody. So if we see We can be friends to some, and that also for some time, not always. And we cannot help that person also. Suppose the friend is suffering because of some pain. So what best we can do is give some good advice. That's all. He has to suffer his own pain. So every person in this world has come with his own karma, all baggage of all karma which he has, and he has to get rid of it. Others can only motivate them, but that person himself has to go through all this. And therefore, uh, we cannot be friend, but Krishna can be his real friend. Krishna can take away all his suffering at once, and that can be done. And therefore, if person knows that Krishna is supreme enjoyer, supreme provider, supreme friend, is freed from all anxieties and then can attain peace. Today, so many wars are fought on lands. Today, there are so many property cases going between brothers and all things. This is because they don't have knowledge that Krishna is supreme provider. The property was there before we came in this world and will also be there when we go from this world, when the death arises. And therefore, everything belongs to Krishna, and we should use the property only which is we require for our existence. And we should know that all other things belong to the Lord. So whatever we need for our existence should be taken, and then we should not be greedy for more things. So if the greed is not there, then this earth can meet all the needs of all the persons, but it cannot meet even the greed of one person, and therefore there are so many wars going on, and this should be revived. And therefore, to revive Krishna consciousness within the entire human society is the highest welfare work. It's a very important thing. See, if all becomes God conscious, then gradually there will be peace all over the world, because nobody will fight unnecessarily, and everybody goal will be to please others, to work for others' welfare, to please Krishna. Why? Because they will think that he's my god brother, he's my god sister. Why? Because we all come from Krishna, and Krishna is our supreme father. And therefore, when father is one, how will fight? And father will not like if the children are fighting among each other. And therefore, uh, there will be cooperation between all the people, and this way, the entire society can be happy. And therefore, to revive this consciousness is the highest welfare work, and this has to be done. See, one cannot be engaged in such first-class welfare work without being liberated in the supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no doubt about the supremacy of Krishna. He has no doubt because he is completely freed from all sins. This is the state of divine love. So gradually, when we start Krishna consciousness, and then gradually when we grow, then all our sins are eradicated. And in this way, when the sins are eradicated, then what happens is we can know the real picture. And in this way, what happens is we have no doubts that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that we have to serve him. And then in this way, all the world can be peaceful. And this is the only way in which the world can be united. See, now also if we see that so many United Nations are doing, and there's so many ideas that how world can be united and all. But still, after having this, only the flags are increasing, but there is no actual unity. And there are wars in so many places. So therefore, if we see that we want peace and we want that all should be happy, then this is the only way. Otherwise, there is no other way. A person engaged only in ministering to the physical welfare of human society cannot factually help anyone. Temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulties in the hard struggle for life may be found in one's forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. When a man is fully conscious of his relation with Krishna, he is actually a liberated soul, although he may be in the material tabernacle. So, if we do some physical help to the person, like if we save the clothes of a drowning man, actually it is not a help to the man, because the man will anyways drown, because we are just saving the clothes. Similarly, if we just take the physical welfare of the human being society, it doesn't help, because at the end what will happen is the man has to die, and there is no permanent solution. So temporary relief of this external body and mind is not satisfactory, because the real solution is that the soul should be liberated. The soul should meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, the real cause of one's difficulties is the heart struggle should be eradicated. And one should again try to develop this relation with the Supreme Lord. In this way, what will happen is one will naturally be peaceful, happy. See, we are all, if you see spirit souls, and we are looking for such Anand, that is, we are looking for eternity, knowledge, and happiness. But we are looking at a long place. We are looking at a wrong thing. So, this material body, whatever people may do to try to preserve, to try to derive happiness and all, will not get, because this material body is asat or temporary. But these all are part of the soul. So once we get liberated from this material body, then all these things can be achieved. And therefore, if Krishna consciousness is being told to people, it's been educated to people, then naturally everybody will be happy and they will all be blissful and all will can go back to God. In this way, the real struggle for life may be ended. Otherwise, today they will be unhappy because of one problem, and tomorrow they will be unhappy because of another problem. And this material world is been designed in such a way that there is no solution to any material problems. Like before some time, there was a problem of slow cars or vehicles. Now we have cars or vehicles running at very high speed. But now, because of traffic problems, the vehicles cannot move further. And then similarly, we see that before that there was a communication problem, that we could not communicate with others. So we have these mobile phones and everything. But now another problem has come is people are too much addicted to mobiles, that a lot of time is spent in mobiles. So in this way, every solution which comes creates another problem. And therefore, there is no permanent solution to any problem in this material world. Permanent solution is only Krishna consciousness, or be conscious of Krishna in whatever way one may be. So then, in verse number 26, is how one can become liberated soon from Kama and Krodha. Kama Krodha Vimuktana Yatinam Yatachetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Vitatmanam. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavor for perfection, are assured of liberation the Supreme in the very near future. So first of all is free from anger. So we have seen how anger arises when our desires are not fulfilled. That time anger arises. So one should be free from anger and also material desires, because material desires will never be fulfilled. And sometimes we think that some of things are fulfilled, but it cannot be fulfilled fully. And even if material desires are fulfilled to some extent, it cannot give us full satisfaction. So those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, means who knows who they are, that is on the level of Atma. Self-discipline means they do work according to one discipline and constantly endeavor for perfection. That is constantly every day doing one sadhana, that today I could not chant my rounds properly, but tomorrow I will definitely do. And this way, gradually, every day increasing in some percentage in one's sadhana, in one's sadachar, in one's hearing, chanting and all. So what happens is, assured of liberation is Supreme very near future. So very, very fast, very near future, one will go back to Godhead. Purport of the saintly persons who are constantly engaged in striving towards salvation, one who is in Krishna consciousness is best of all. So there are different persons who are engaged in salvation or getting out of the material world by different processes like Jnana, Ashtanga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti. Out of that, one who does Bhakti in Krishna consciousness is best of all. And the Bhagavatam confirms this fact as follows. Yat pada pankaj palasha vilasha bhaktya karma sayam gratitam Udgratiyanti santa tadvan narikta matayo yatayo apirutta shoto gana sabaranam bhajavasudevam. Just try to worship in devotional service Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even great sages are not able to control the forces of senses as effectively as those who are engaged in transcending bliss of serving the lotus feet of Lord, uprooting the deep grown desire for fruitive activities. So, uh, see, all the other processes uh, helps one to grow to certain extent, but the control of forces of senses cannot be checked as effectively as this. So we have this example of Vishwamitra, who did tapasya for so many years, but then also could not control lust. And we see when Menka came and this time came, he lost control. So other processes are not as effective as bhakti, and therefore bhakti is very powerful. Bhakti removes the problem from the root, because all this problem comes because we identify ourselves as body, and the bhakti starts with the thing that we are not this body but spirit soul. So if we are not this spirit soul, we are spirit soul and we are not this body, so then the pleasures of this body which are derived from kam, krodha, whatever it is, are not useful. They are anartha, they are not artha, and therefore we try at uprooting all this from the very beginning. Whereas in other processes, this is not being so much told, or it is told, but still the process doesn't help them to come out of this as effectively. Suppose, I'll give an example that suppose one want to grow some grains in the field. So first, what the person needs to do is clear the field. So whatever weeds are there, so there are different ways of removing the weeds. One is to cut the weeds or to cut the grass. Second is to burn the grass. But still, the grass will soon come back as soon as there's some water because of rains or something. If we want to remove the weeds, then what we need to do is sit down and remove the weeds or the grass from the roots. If they are not removed from the roots, they will come again and again. So bhakti means removing the anathas from its very root. Another process is like burning the grass or cutting the grass from up. So again the desires will develop, or again the things will happen. And therefore bhakti is most powerful and most effective in helping us going back to God fast. In the conditioned soul, the desire to enjoy the fruitive results of work is so deep rooted that it is very difficult even for the great sages to control such desires despite great endeavors. So it doesn't mean that they are not doing endeavors. Definitely they are doing endeavors, but the process is not so perfect that it can help. And therefore, there's always a problem that they can fall on. And a devotee of the Lord constantly engaged in devotional service of Krishna is perfect in self-realization, is very quickly attains liberation in the Supreme. So devotee of Krishna takes very less time and also gets the highest result. Owing to his complete knowledge in self-realization, he is always in trance. So when one realizes that his spirit soul is eternal servant of Krishna, he is always in that trance that I am servant of Krishna, I am a servant of Krishna. And therefore he is in that trance or is in a situation which helps him to overcome all the problems. To cite an analogous example of this, example is given. Darshane dhyana samsarshe matsya kurma vihangama swani apatyani pushnanti tataham api padmaja. So there are three examples given of how they bring their offspring. So fish, tortoise, and birds. So how they maintain. So fish by vision. So what does fish do? They see the offspring, and in this way the offspring comes out. What does the tortoise do? They will lay their eggs somewhere on the land, and then they will meditate while they are on the water or somewhere, wherever they are. So from there they will meditate, and the tortoise will come out and they will grow. And similarly, by touch. So birds maintain their offspring by touch, and then similarly do so I, O Padmaja. So the fish brings up the offspring simply by looking at them. Tortoise brings up its offspring by meditation, The eggs of tortoise are laid on the land, and the tortoise meditates on the eggs while in the water. Similarly, the devotees of Krishna consciousness, although far away from the Lord's abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of him constantly, by engagement in Krishna consciousness. So, the devotee of the Lord, what does he do? By simply meditating on Supreme Personality of Lord, even though Lord is very far from us, but at the same time is very near. He is sitting in everybody's heart. So in this way, one thinks of Krishna constantly and one transfers. We see in this material example also, whatever one meditates in life for a long time, one becomes. Like I have seen one couple, the Mataji and Prabhuji looks almost same. Why? Because of love, they are constantly meditating on each other. So the facial features and everything has gradually changed, and they look that they're like brothers and sisters. So in this world also, if somebody meditates on another person, he becomes like us. So we have also seen that there are some very great followers of movie stars or fan following. So they talk like the movie star, they act like, even their facial expressions, even everything, even their look, and sometimes their faces also even match with the film stars. So how this happens? Because they're constantly meditating on that's a film star or somebody. Similarly, if we meditate constantly on Krishna, then we'll gradually be elevated and go back to Krishna consciousness without fail. So that is the easiest process. He does not feel the pangs of material miseries. This state is called Brahma Nirvana. So there are miseries in this world, but he does not feel the miseries. He does not feel it because he is constantly engaged in Krishna, or the absence of state of Brahma Nirvana, or the absence of material miseries due to being constantly immersed in the Supreme. So if we want to get out of these miseries, we should be immersed in the Supreme. Like if we see the aeroplane does not look for the signals which the vehicles look on the road, because the aeroplane is flying far above on a height where it does not look for this traffic signals and all. Similarly, our consciousness should be so high that the problems of this life, which is going on, should not affect us. In this way, if we see, then there are material miseries, but we will not be affected by it because we will be constantly immersed in the Supreme. Now, this verse of 27 and 28, some glimpse of Ashtanga Yoga has been given, which we'll discuss in the next chapter, number 6. So before that, Krishna is giving us some prelude or some just some introduction of the Ashtanga Yoga. So let's see this verse 27 and 28. Sparshan kitva bahirvayam chakshu shaivantare bruho prana samo kritva nasa abhyantara charino yatindriya mano buddhir munir moksha parayana vigatecha bhaya krodha yasaha mukta evasa. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence, the transcendentalist, aiming at liberation, becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So, first is shutting all external sense objects, that is not having contact with all sense objects. Then keeping the eyes and vision concentrated within two eyebrows. That means not fully closing the eyes, not fully opening, half closed. So it is between two eyebrows. Then suspend the inward, that is pranayam, like we do kumbhak rechak. So the inward and outer breaths are being utilized. And then controlling the mind, which is next, mind, senses, and intelligence. So that we should do. And then one aims for the liberation. Therefore, one becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. So there are 8 stages, I think, which will be described in the next chapter. But we'll just see when it comes here. Okay, we'll just discuss this 8 stages now only, and then we'll discuss further. So these 8 stages are here. See, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So these are the 8 stages of Ashtanga Yoga. So yama means the don'ts, that is regulations or prohibition, that we should not do this, we should not do this or not this. Like we have our 4 regulative principles. They are the yamas, that one should not go into intoxication, one should not uh, uh, gamble, one should not have any relationship with externally apart from the married life. And in this way, these are the regular principles which are to be followed, and no meat eating. Actually, these 4 regular principles, if are followed, there'll be so much peace in the world, because so many people are suffering due to intoxication and so many things. Yes, recently, just a day back, one mother had come that his younger child has been addicted because of some people. They gave him free liquor and now he's addicted. And because of that, he spent lot of money and he is now in loan of around 15 lakhs or something. So this is huge wise actually. It has to be removed. Then so many people will be safe. And so many families, especially the ladies who are working at home, who does not know what's going outside, they'll be saved. Because then the Mata was saying that so many people are coming at the home asking for the money, and the son is saying, I will do suicide. So now they're saying what to do. The son has done so much loan and he'll do suicide. How will we survive? Because the father is only having auto, and how much can he earn to repay everything and all? So it's a very great sin which is destroying so many people's life, and therefore this yama or regulations should be actually followed, not for devotion, just for maintaining some basic human level. This is important. Devotion starts when we start the chanting and all, but for that also basic human level, this all intoxications, all gambling. So gambling also, I know one person lost around 40-50 lakhs in that play lotto and all. Every time he was thinking that no, this time I will win, this time I will win. In this way, so much money was lost, and ultimately he has to sell his house. So for some very few people, so many people are being destroyed, and therefore this yama, regulations or provisions. Then there is niyama. Niyama is do's or regulations or prescriptions. For then niyama for us is that like chanting daily, attending Mangalarati, then worshipping the Lord, offering bhog. It's all the rules and prescription. So they should be done. And then asana. So asana is like bodily practices, how to sit. We do so many practices like Surya Namaskar and all. So these all are asana, bodily exercise. Then after asana comes pranayama. So pranayama are like breathing exercise, kumbhak, rechak, or anulom, vilom, and all things. So these are all pranayama. And after doing pranayama is pratyahar. Pratyahar means that withdrawing the senses from sense objects. That is, our senses should not be allowed to come in contact with sense objects. So suppose somebody has this habit of eating whatever comes in the way. So one should not go to a place which is eating places or eating restaurant. Otherwise, one will definitely be tempted. So withdrawing the senses, so that eyes are being withdrawn from going to that place. And this way, withdrawing the senses. And then dharana. So dharana is the starting stage where one is trying to fix his mind on Lord's form. So there is dharana, where one tries to fix on Lord form. Then there is dhyana. The dhyana is a middle stage where the sadhana is intensified, because in the dharana stage, the mind may go away. So one is trying to fix his mind on the Lord's form. But dhyana is intensified meditation. For longer times, that the mind does not go away, and one tries to do dhyan on Lord more. And then is samadhi. Samadhi is complete absorption or trance, in which the mind does not go away only. So this is the perfectional stage. So in this way, there are 8 stages of Ashtanga Yoga: yama, don'ts; niyama, do's; asana, physical exercise; pranayama, breathing exercise; pratyahara, withdrawing the senses from sense objects; and after withdrawing, dharana is fixing the mind on Lord's form. Then it is intensified in dhyana, and complete absorption comes in samadhi. So in this way, these are the 8 stages. So the beginning stage is called yoga aruksha. The yoga aruksha is called the beginning stage, and the final stage where one is called yoga aruda. So now is aruda. Arusha is starting point and Yoga Arudha is the concept. So this is the summary of Ashtanga Yoga, and we'll see in detail in the chapter number 6. So let's now read this purport. Being engaged in Krishna consciousness, one can immediately understand one's spiritual identity, and then one can understand the Supreme Lord by means of devotional service. So when one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, the first teaching one gets is one is not this body but spirit soul, which is in chapter number 2. And therefore, one immediately can understand what is my spiritual identity. And then because I am spirit soul, so we also think that we can understand Krishna also, because Krishna is also Sachidanand. And then this is someone which is created, that I am the part and parcel of Krishna. And then the means or abhida is devotional service. That is chanting, hearing, the Navida Bhakti. So this is done. And then the provision is going back to God or attaining Krishna Prema. So when one is well situated in devotional service, one comes to a transcendental position, qualified to feel the presence of the Lord in the sphere of one's activity. This particular position is called liberation in the Supreme. So when it's situated in devotional service, that is, one does not move. See, in starting times now, our devotional service goes to different stages. So first is Utsamai. That is false enthusiasm. One comes to new to devotional service, and one thinks that one will conquer everything. But then what happens is there is a Ganatarala. Sometimes one does so much devotional service, sometimes one does not do anything. So one need to pass these stages, Ganatarala, then Vyuda Vikalpa, whether to do this or should I go to Vrindavan and do my bhakti, or should I go here? Then what should I do? Should I do my job or give up the job? These are the questions which comes in that stage. And then there is a Vishaya Sangara. Then one comes to know it's not an external problem. My internal anarthas are stopping me, the calm, growth, love, and all things. So then one works on the internal things. And then there is Niyamakshama. That is one then tries to improve that today I will do Ekadashi. Today I will chant more rounds. In this way, so in the previous stage, one was fighting with the senses. In this stage, one is trying to improve his devotional service. So in this way, this stage is come. And then there is Tarangrangini. So Tarangrangini is a stage where one does his sadhana very nicely, is very pakka. And this is a stage when one should aspire for initiation and all. Because till then, one is not very sure where one will follow or not, and all things comes. But at Tarangarangini stage is that stage where one is fixed up that now I am doing. So this way, this fixed up position is very good. If one wants, then one should take initiation and all this process should end. And then Anat Nivritti starts. And Anat are also different types. Some are Sukrutano arising from the past things. Some are Duskrutano arising from sinful things. And in this way, there are apradhas and there are geo apradhas and all. So these things then are to be tackled off. So in this way, one can gradually grow. So then one is well situated in devotional, one comes to transposition, qualified to feel the presence of the Lord in the sphere of one's activity. So then one will feel that God is present here. So like we saw in the how we can feel is, it comes in chapter number 7 of BhagavadGita. Krishna says, I am taste of water. So when we are drinking water, there's some taste which we feel through our tongue, and that taste water of water is Krishna. So in this way, we can see Krishna everywhere, and the presence of Krishna is felt in whatever activity we do. So this particular position is called liberation in the Supreme. After explaining the above principles of liberation in the Supreme, the Lord gives instruction to Arjuna on as to how one can come to that position by the practice of the mysticism or yoga known as Ashtanga Yoga, which is divisible into 8-fold procedure called as Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. So this we have already explained that this is being explained by Krishna. In the 6th chapter, the subject of yoga is explicitly detailed. At the end of 5th, it is only preliminarily explained. So here only some preliminary explanation is given. It will be explained very extensively in the next chapter number 6. One has to drive out the sense objects such as sound, touch, form, smell, and taste by the pratyahara process and yoga. So pratyahara stage is withdrawing senses from sense objects. So sense attracted to sound, touch, form. So one things that one should be keep away from all these things. So one has to drive out the sense objects by the pratyahara process in yoga, and then keep the vision of the eyes between the two eyebrows and concentrate on the tip of the nose with half closed lids. So as previously told, that eyes should be half closed and should be concentrated at the tip of the nose. So if there is no benefit if closing the eyes, because one will sleep, because every chance is there of falling asleep. Nor there is benefit of opening, because one will then has the hazard of being attracted by so many sense objects. So one will see here, one will see there. So in the morning, why chanting is very good? Because there is pitch dark outside. So even if our eyes are open, we cannot see much. And therefore, while our eyes open, we can chant nicely. After what's happened is, so many things we are get attracting to. So we see this thing and our mind goes there. That thing, our mind goes there. And therefore, morning chanting is the best. And after chanting, if you do not chant in the morning, other chanting is effective, but not the, if you see the quality, it will not be as good as the morning one. And therefore, gradually we should try that we can complete our rounds in the morning. So then the eyes of not there is benefit of opening the eyes completely, because there is hazard of being attracted by sense of it. The breathing movement is restrained within the nostrils by utilizing the upward and downward moving air within the body. So we see this anulom and vilom, and we do say that we take breath and kumbha karechak and all things do. So this all what happens is it helps to neutralize the upgoing and downgoing air in the body. By practice of such yoga, one is able to control over the senses, refrain from outward sense objects, and thus prepare oneself for liberation, the supreme. So when one practice all these things, what happens is one gains control over the senses, and then one will refrain from outward sense objects. So one will not be attracted. See, that doesn't mean that sense objects will not be there. They will always be there, but one will not be attracted to sense objects. One will be neutral, and thus prepare oneself for liberation. So one is not attracted to material objects, that person only can go back to God. See, if we are attracted to this world, the glare of this world, then Krishna will say, anyways, you are attracted to here, why do you want to come to my place? Please stay here. And therefore, gradually, we should come out of the attraction of this place, big bungalows, big cars and everything. See, all that is placed in service of Krishna. We can use it, but we should not be attached to it. So we can stay in big house without being attached to the house. So tomorrow, if something happens and we are being told that now instead of this big house, you need to stay in small house. At that time, we should be ready, and because that will show that how detached we are. We will do the needful and go forward. And therefore, very important that one should gradually be detached from all material things and gradually use everything only for Krishna's service. In this way, one can prepare oneself for liberation in the Supreme. So even our position, our name, fame, whatever it is, we should use for Krishna in progressing Krishna consciousness. And that will help us also, and that the person also will get the most benefit. So this should be our attitude in life. The yoga process helps one become free from all kinds of fear and anger, and thus feel the presence of super soul in the transcendental position. So this yoga process helps one to become free from all kinds of fear and anger. And when one is freed from all these, then only one can feel the presence of super soul. In other words, Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of executing yoga principles. This will thoroughly explain in the next chapter. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always engaged in devotional service, does not risk losing his senses to some other engagement. So, if we are engaged constantly in devotional service one after another, then what happens is we are not at risk. Otherwise, if we do devotional service for 23.5 hours also, the half hour out of 24 hours which we do material enjoyment, our mind will be attached only to material enjoyment and will forget the devotional service. And therefore, if we engage always 24 hours in devotional, that is only the way out. Then we cannot, there is no risk of losing senses to some other engagement. This is a better way of controlling senses than by Ashtanga Yoga. So instead of in Ashtanga Yoga, you say that naiti naiti, this is not, I will restrain. So instead of restraining the senses from sense objects, better is to engage the senses in devotional service and thereby be liberated. That is much more easier than controlling of senses, because senses are so wild that, and the mind is also so wild that one may try to control as far as one's strength goes, but the senses can any time go astray. Like a person who is driving the chariot, so he has to work in a way where he is not letting the horses loose. At the same time, he cannot even too much tighten it. Otherwise, the horse will go haywire and he will also lose control. Similarly, the senses are compared to horses, and it may bring to a astray. And therefore, the better thing is to engage in Krishna consciousness. So now this is the last verse of this chapter, and the most important verse. Prabhupada calls this verse as peace formula, and he has quoted this verse so many times in all his books. And so if one can, even if one can remember this verse, it will be very nice. Otherwise, we'll just understand actually. भोक्ताराम यज्ञ तपसाम सर्वलोक महेश्वरम सूरदम सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा माम शांतिं मृच्छति. A person in full conscious of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. We like to understand this verse nicely. So, one who is fully conscious of Krishna knows that Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Everything belongs to Krishna. And therefore, because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, he should be the beneficiary of all the yajna and sacrifice and austerities. So whatever we do for the pleasure of Krishna. And he is not only powerful, he is not only proprietor of everything, he is not only the beneficiary, at the same time he is also well-wisher. See, in this world, if we see somebody is rich, somebody is powerful, but he not be well-wisher, so it doesn't help us. But here, Krishna, if we see, he is not only powerful, he is not only proprietor of everything, but at the same time, he is also friend of all living entities. So this makes him special. And in the material world, even somebody may be friend of everybody, but he may not be the proprietor of everything. So if he is friend, but he doesn't have anything, how can he help others? But Krishna is the proprietor and he is a friend also. And he is sitting with the heart also. Therefore, he knows the situation of each and every person. And he is well-wisher. Therefore, he is always ready to help each and every person. Therefore, this is very important thing that this will help us to attain peace. Purport. The conditioned souls within the clutches of illusion energy are all anxious to attain peace in the material world. So everybody wants peace in this material world. If you ask somebody after a whole day work, what will say? I was just want to relax. There was a lot of tension. So everybody wants peace. But they do not know the formula for peace, which is explained in this part of Bhagavad Gita. But most persons do not know how to attain peace. The greatest peace formula is simply this. Lord Krishna is the beneficiary in all human activities. So whatever we do, whatever we get, we should think that is all for Krishna. So Krishna is the main beneficiary. And therefore, when we cook food, we first offer to Krishna, because Krishna is the main beneficiary. And whatever we get, money or anything, we just offer to Krishna some part and then use for our personal use. Therefore, because the prime beneficiary, we say, is Krishna. We have seen devotees, whatever they do, even they purchase some book, pen, or anything, they'll first offer to Krishna, they will show to Krishna and take his permission to use. So, in this way, this is a form that everything should be given to Krishna. Because why we should give everything to Krishna? Because everything actually belongs to Krishna, nothing is ours. This all land, property, and everything was there before we came. And after we are gone from here, it will always be there. And therefore, if we see, Krishna is the only real proprietor of all these things. Others are not the proprietors. The names keep on changing generation after generation. But Krishna is always there, is the same. And therefore, he is the proprietor of all planets and demigods. No one is greater than he. He is the greater than the greatest of demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So, we know this also. It also comes in Bhagavatam. And so many places, Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam. You are the original Supreme Personality God. Even greater than Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So, one of the expansions of Krishna sleeps on the bed, and from that we see the Brahma comes, the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from that he comes. So, in this way we see how he is the Lord of everything. In the Vedas, Svetashvara Upanishad 6.7, the Lord, Supreme Lord is described as Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram. Under the spell of illusion, living entities are trying to the Lord of the all that serve, but actually they are dominated by the material energy of the Lord. So because of illusion, what happens is, everything what we see, wherever eyes go, we think that is mine, this should be ours. And this is a greater illusion, because everything belongs to Supreme Personality of God through material energy. So material energy is dominated, but we think that, oh, this is mine, this is mine. And this way there is a hard struggle for that place. I have seen the family fights going on between brothers, and the case went on for so long that actually when the result came for the case, the brothers were already gone. And the property was then distributed between the sons and daughters of the brothers and all. So whole life is gone for that property, which they could not even enjoy. It went to the children, and then it will go further. So therefore, we should see that Krishna is only proprietor, and nobody is greater than him. He is greater than the greatest of demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is described as Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram. And because of spell, this illusion, and this illusion is so great now. Today we'll think that we are not lords. After some time again, we'll think that we are lords. And in this way, back and forth, we need to rise in our consciousness. The Lord is master of material nature, and the conditioned souls are under the stringent rules of material nature. So we all know we are Anu and God is Vibhu. So even in the liberated stage, we will not come into material energy, but we will never be proprietor of material energy. Whereas Krishna is always proprietor of material energy. He is the boss of material energy. Living entity will never be, and therefore Krishna and living entity cannot be same at any point of time. Even after liberation, they will remain different, and Krishna will be the boss, and the living entity will be his subordinate. Unless one understands this bare fact, it is not possible to achieve peace in the world, either individually or collectively. So one should understand all these things, facts, otherwise real peace cannot be attained anywhere. This is the sense of Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna is the supreme predominator, and all living entities, including the great demigods, are his subordinates. One can attain perfect peace only in complete Krishna consciousness. So, this is how we leave that Krishna is the supreme predominator. Nobody is supreme than him, and is dominating all living entities, including great demigod. So all demigods also is subordinates, and therefore we should know this. And one can attain perfect peace only in complete Krishna consciousness. So when we are completely conscious of Krishna, then we can attain peace, because we are 24 hours engrossed in Krishna consciousness, or hearing or reading or telling about Krishna. This fifth chapter is a practical explanation of Krishna consciousness, generally known as Karma Yoga. So this fifth chapter, we see that how things are given practically, that how one can use this Karma Yoga. The question of mental speculation as to how Karma Yoga can give liberation is answered here with. To work in Krishna consciousness, to work with complete knowledge of the Lord is a predominator. Such work is not different from transcendental knowledge. Direct Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga is the path to leading to Bhakti Yoga. Krishna consciousness means one to work in full knowledge at one's relationship with the Supreme Absolute, and the perfection of this consciousness is full knowledge of Krishna. So Krishna Bhavana, this word or Krishna consciousness, intensified Krishna consciousness come. Why? Because Prabhupada wanted everybody to be Krishna's of conscious of Krishna, and therefore, when we are conscious or full knowledge of one's relation with Supreme, then we can attain this consciousness of full of perfection of going back to God. A pure soul is eternal servant of the Lord God as a fragmental part and parcel. So we are a part and parcel of Supreme Person God. He comes into contact with Maya due to his desire to lord over Maya. So once the choice was given and we wanted to lord over material nature, and therefore we have come here, and then Maya grabs us. As long as he is in contact with matter, he has to execute works in terms of material necessities. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is in the jurisdiction of matter. So till the time one is in this material world, one has to work for basic things also. But while working also, if one is Krishna consciousness, and then what happens is one comes to spiritual life in this life only and without the jurisdiction of matter. But it is arousing of spiritual existence by practice of in the material world. The more one is advanced, the more he is freed from the cultures of matter. So people ask how to get rid of this material world and everything. The answer is very simple. We should be advanced in Krishna consciousness. The more we advance in one way, the other thing is definitely reduced. Like suppose in the stock market, if the stocks goes up, the gold will come down. Or if the gold goes up, means the stock is coming down. So therefore, if one is not Krishna consciousness, then one will be material consciousness. When one is in material consciousness, one cannot be Krishna consciousness. The more one is advanced, then one will be in freed from the cultural matter. The Lord is not partial. So this is not partial, this is reciprocal. So Lord is reciprocal. The way you do more bhakti, you get more advanced. So it's reciprocation, not that Lord is partial. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness, which helps one control the senses in every respect and conquer the influence of desire and anger. And one who stands fast in Krishna consciousness, controlling the above mentioned passions, remains factually in the transcendent state or Brahma Nirvana. So desires may come, so many desires come, but one should be like ocean. See, in ocean, if you see now, so many rivers are pouring water every day, but still the ocean remains calm and cool. So a ocean never breaks its boundary limit. Instead of coming, so many water is coming, but still it doesn't break its boundary. If ocean breaks its boundary, then what will happen? So many people will be drawn in that ocean. And like the ocean, desires may come, but we should be staying calm and not paying heed to the desires which are not in line with the devotional service. The Eightfold Yoga Mission is automatically practicing Krishna consciousness because the ultimate purpose is served. There is a gradual process of elevation in the practice of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. But this only preface perfection by devotional service, which alone can award peace to the human being. It is the highest perfection of life. So devotional service can give us all the results of all the other processes, and it is the highest perfection of life. and therefore we should practice devotional service without any hesitation. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.